Thank you so much for joining to do this practice. I really hope that the tools we explore around groundedness and agency and compassion will be helpful for you as we continue to navigate everything that's arising for us at this time. Just a couple of notes before we get started. This practice will last for about 30 minutes, and know that you do not have to do everything that I am guiding. So if we're focusing on something that is not feeling quite right for you in the moment, you can redirect your attention towards something that feels a little more grounded, feels a little more neutral for you. And I'll give you some prompts throughout the practice on how you can do that for yourself. Also know that you can take breaks at any time during the practice, and those can be for as long as you need. If you even just need to get up to move around a little bit, feel free to do that for yourself. So both of these practices, redirecting our attention when we feel that we need to, or taking a break when we feel that we need to, those are really important for developing agency for ourselves. So becoming more aware of our needs as they're arising at any given time, and then honoring those needs in as skillful a way as we can in that moment. So let's begin with the practice. And we'll just take a moment to get ourselves into a comfortable seated position. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure that you have both feet planted on the floor. And you'll want to arrange yourself on the chair so that you're sitting upright with your shoulders relatively aligned over your hips. And you can have your hands just resting gently in your lap in a way that your arms and shoulders are relaxed, so that you're not holding any tension in your shoulders. Or if you're used to using a mudra in any kind of meditation practice that you might do, feel free to use that as well. So you can have your eyes closed. You can have them partially open with a soft, defocused gaze that is slightly down in front of you. So again, just doing what feels right for you and knowing that you can change your mind at any time during the practice. So let's just take a few deep breaths to settle in. So this is a very embodied practice that we're doing today. So we'll begin by turning your attention toward your posture and your sense of groundedness as you're present here in this moment. There is a pervasive sense of groundlessness right now, which can create a lot of anxiety and dysregulation for us. So our practice for meeting that experience can really be as simple as sensing your feet in contact with the ground and feeling your sit bones grounded on the seat or the cushion that you're sitting on. So we're anchoring our attention in the feeling of being both grounded and supported. And see if you can trust the seat and the ground to hold you. We often forget that the ground is always available to us as a resource. It's always there offering us support. So let's just take a moment to allow ourselves to rest in the groundedness for a moment and see what qualities you notice about it. So at any time during the practice, if something is not feeling right for you, you can always return your attention to this sense of groundedness, tuning into your feet in contact with the ground or the floor, feeling your sit bones in contact with the chair. And so now we'll turn our attention toward the torso and the upper body, noticing the support of your abdominal muscles, feeling into their support. And then shifting your attention around to the lower back and drawing your attention upward, up the full length of your back, noticing the strong expanse of your back, the width of your shoulders, the openness of your shoulders. And on your next exhale, allowing yourself to relax into this posture, trusting the ground and this body to hold you. Can you notice the dignity of this posture? There's a deep sense of dignity in holding ourselves in this stable, open, and upright way. And as you feel into this sense of dignity, see if you can allow the energy of it to expand and take up space. Our posture is not a small thing. Many of us have learned to contract and make ourselves small in order to feel safe and in order to fit in. And we've learned oftentimes not to take up space. So our practice of embodying this upright openness and stability and allowing our energy to take up space is really important for rewiring those patterns in our nervous system. So let's take a few minutes to rest in the awareness of this posture. Just allowing yourself to really feel into the dignity of your own self. And as you're allowing the energy of this posture to expand outward, you can also see if you can feel into the dignity of everyone in this space. Sensing into this collective sense of dignity. And as we embody the support and stability of a strong back and embody this sense of groundedness, we can allow ourselves to open more fully and to have a soft front. So we'll turn our attention now toward your chest and your heart space and see if you can feel into a softening here. And if you'd like, you can place one or both hands over your heart space at the center of your chest as a way of feeling into this softness. Allowing your touch to be warm and compassionate. So you're meeting yourself in a very gentle way. If you're not feeling resourced enough for this part of the practice, remember that you can shift your attention back into your contact with the ground or into something else that feels a little more neutral and grounded. And remember that you can take a break at any time as well. If you're able to feel into this openness, notice what sensations arise as you tune into your heart space and this sense of compassion towards yourself. So you might notice sensations of warmth or sensations of light. You might feel a sense of expansion or some spaciousness in your chest. And if you're not noticing anything in particular, that's okay too. There's no right or wrong sensation to experience. We're just noticing what arises and creating space to be with whatever that experience is. As you continue to rest in this compassionate awareness, notice your body's capacity to open and receive. And see if you can feel a little deeper into that receptivity and that openness. In this receptive space, you might even ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? And then notice what arises. What does your compassionate self invite you to know at this time? So we're just listening with an openness and a willingness to receive. And then if we do hear some words of compassion, we can offer those to ourselves. What do I need to hear right now? And again, if anything isn't arising for you, that's okay. You can just continue to rest your awareness in your own compassionate presence. Just allow yourself to enjoy that. It's hard to be skillful with our compassion without reliable support. So if we don't have this sense of groundedness and this embodied support system for ourselves, we can become too open and overwhelmed with our compassion and our deep sense of empathy, or we can become very rigid and closed off. So our compassion really needs to be rooted in this groundedness, and it needs to include ourselves. And we have to include ourselves in our circle of compassion. We need both of these qualities, both the groundedness and the skillful compassion, not only for navigating what is arising and unfolding right now, but also for the gifted journey, which can be a rocky road at times. As we come to the end of this practice, let's take a moment to recognize that in this moment, with all of us sitting here together, we are connected in the same space filled with dignity and compassion. So we've spent several minutes cultivating these qualities and this presence. And it's available to each of us in this space right now. So take a moment to tune into this shared space and notice what it feels like to be held in this presence. And what it feels like to be generative in this presence. In a moment, you'll hear the sound of a bell signaling the end of the practice. So I'll invite you to set an intention for yourself to stay connected with these qualities of groundedness and compassion that we have cultivated during this time together. And so the intention can be to not only stay connected with those qualities, but to bring them with you intentionally as we move out of the meditation.